Sorry, I have to redo this video a second time, and I hate doing second takes because I'm an actor. But I want to address something that I just watched a Dave Rubin video, and I've found some similarities between Dave Rubin and Sam Harris. They tend to place a lot of responsibility on the individual, a lot of responsibility on the intelligence of individuals. And I have to say, I'm sort of pulling from the last video I did, but I mean, I have to say that there is a certain intelligence that comes from bureaucratic policy, that comes from researched and well-connected understandings of an issue outside of the individual biases and understandings of the way things work. I think that's what government is. Government is basically an understanding of certain issues outside of discrimination, basically individual discrimination, to put a specific term to it. I myself live in a situation right now where bureaucracy, as detrimental as it is to the current functioning, is also very helpful in terms of my individual understanding and circumstances in life. And I feel that sometimes Sam Harris and Dave Rubin place a lot of trust in the individual. But I mean, if you've ever heard about the tyranny of the masses or the wisdom of the democracy, like, you kind of have this dichotomous view. I mean, at what point do you draw the line? It's a difficult game to play, but I will say that living through a very bureaucratic process that's very connected to my livelihood, there is a wisdom that comes from government that cannot, almost by default, cannot come from an individual understanding of even their own circumstances. People are naturally selfish. I mean, politicians can lie to people and they believe it. On the other hand, people can elect politicians that are dishonest, etc., etc. And it's a bit of I just lost myself, but I mean, it's a bit of a line to play. But I mean, ultimately, bureaucracies have a certain amount of wisdom that an individual cannot possibly have. That they have a certain power, they have a certain affectatiousness, like, that individuals can't have. And we do live in connected societies. We live in societies where people live together, and there are power relations, and without sounding too feminist, there are relations between people that need to be bureaucratized, that need to be formalized and made into law, etc., etc., etc. So I'm not bashing Sam Harris or Dave Rubin in terms of the intelligence of an individual. People are smart, blah blah blah. But there's only something that could come about from scientific inquiry or very heavily regulated environments that can't come from the individual, with the individual with biases and discrimination, etc., etc., etc. My first video was actually better, but I deleted the video by accident. But what can you do, huh? Anyway, that's all I gotta say. Bye.